is a dud. It's a cheap mess that you cannot light.
That's crazy.
$64 for your wickless candle.
She says she's all about this attention to detail. Clearly she's not, okay? Meghan Markle, she needs to roll up her sleeves, go to that
You are not going to believe what happened when that box was opened. What was supposed to be a simple unboxing turned into nervous laughter, then confusion, then the kind of disbelief that makes you double-check your own eyesight. The packaging looked polished. The label felt expensive. The branding whispered luxury. But when the candle was lifted out and turned toward the light, there it was, a smooth, untouched surface of wax. No wick. Not even a tiny thread peeking through. Just a hollow space where something essential should have been. $64. Not for a handbag. Not for a fine dining reservation. Not for an exclusive perfume crafted in Paris. $64 for a candle. A candle that, according to multiple buyers, could not be lit. At first, it sounded almost absurd.
When I got back, there's no wick again.
I'm opening this cylinder now. If you're watching, what a ta-da!
A one-off mistake. Maybe. A manufacturing hiccup. But then more voices joined the conversation. One person posted a photo. Another shared a video. Laughter echoed through clips online, but it wasn't the amused kind. It was the awkward, stunned laughter of people who couldn't quite process what they were seeing. Some candles had a small puncture in the center, as if a wick had once been there and vanished. Others were completely smooth, like decorative wax meant only to sit untouched on a shelf. And yet, printed clearly on the label, trim wick to 1/4 inch. Trim what wick? That's when the mood shifted. Because a candle has one job.
Donna,
There's no wick!
This is why, like, everything's...
It doesn't require cutting-edge technology or complex engineering. It's wax, a container, and a wick. Simplicity is part of its charm. So when the most basic component is missing, the issue feels bigger than a cosmetic flaw. It feels foundational. And here's where the tension really builds. This wasn't a discount store purchase. This candle was positioned as luxury. At $64, it entered the territory of heritage brands and carefully curated boutiques. That price signals something unspoken but powerful. It says you're not just buying wax. You're buying experience. You're buying ambience, intention, refinement. You're buying the reassurance that someone somewhere inspected every detail before it reached your doorstep.
So it's a piece of tat. No wonder she has hundreds and thousands of...
Luxury pricing creates an invisible contract. Consumers agree to spend more because they believe the quality will justify it. The higher the cost, the deeper the trust required. So when buyers opened those boxes and found wax without flame potential, the disappointment wasn't just about functionality. It was about expectation. It was about the promise that had quietly been made and, in their view, broken. Then came the next layer, customer service. Several buyers claimed they reached out for help, hoping for a quick resolution. A replacement.
A refund.
A clear explanation. Some reported receiving polite but generic replies. Others said their follow-ups went unanswered. There were even allegations of strict no-refund policies and broken links when attempting to report damaged goods. Whether every claim tells the full story or not, perception began moving faster than clarification. And perception, in today's world, spreads like wildfire. Screenshots circulated. Comment sections filled. What could have remained a private inconvenience turned into a public debate about standards. Because once multiple customers describe the same issue, the narrative stops sounding like bad luck and starts sounding systemic. As if that wasn't enough, the scent itself entered the conversation. The candle was marketed with poetic flair.
$64 for a candle is unacceptable if it does not come with a wick.
California poppy, water lotus, sandalwood. It conjured images of golden hills and warm coastal air. But critics pointed out something curious. California poppies are not known for having a strong fragrance. They are stunning to look at, yes, but not particularly aromatic. Buyers describe the scent as faint, subtle, barely noticeable unless standing directly over the jar. And when a product is already under scrutiny, even small details are magnified. This controversy didn't emerge in isolation. It arrived at a time when public perception surrounding the brand's broader ventures was already complicated. Previous headlines about media deals, scaling back projects, and critical commentary had laid a foundation of skepticism in some corners of the internet. So when the Wickless candle surfaced, it wasn't seen as a standalone glitch. It was absorbed into a larger narrative about execution and follow-through. That's the tricky reality of celebrity-driven brands. Fame accelerates visibility, but it also accelerates scrutiny. Most startups quietly refine their processes out of public view. But when a globally recognized name is attached, every flaw becomes content. Every misstep becomes commentary. The internet doesn't just critique, it creates metaphors. A wickless candle quickly became symbolic to some critics, an image of promise without ignition. Now, to be fair, business launches are rarely flawless. Manufacturing errors happen. Suppliers miss details. Early production runs can reveal weak points in quality control. None of that automatically signals collapse. But when customers invest a premium amount of money, they expect premium accountability. What determines whether a stumble becomes a scandal isn't the mistake itself, it's the response. Because brands are not judged by perfection. They are judged by how they recover. Right now, the candle sits at the center of a broader conversation about trust. About whether luxury pricing matched luxury delivery. About whether communication matched expectation. It's no longer just about wax in a glass jar. It's about credibility in a marketplace where consumers are hyper-aware, quick to compare, and unafraid to share their experiences publicly. And here's the honest truth. Viral outrage doesn't always tell the complete story. Online backlash can snowball. One defective batch can look like a nationwide failure once screenshots multiply. Without internal production data, it's impossible to know the full scope. But perception doesn't wait for spreadsheets. It moves at the speed of a share button. So maybe the real test isn't whether a few candles were missing wicks. Maybe the real test is what happens next. Will concerns be addressed transparently? Will quality control tighten? Will trust be rebuilt? Because in the luxury world, perception is everything. One small flaw can echo louder than 10 flawless launches. And once doubt enters the conversation, it lingers. What do you think? Would you spend $64 on a candle after hearing these reports, or would you wait for clarity before making that decision? Do you believe this was a simple manufacturing mistake blown out of proportion, or a sign of deeper issues behind the scenes? Share your thoughts below. I genuinely want to hear where you stand. And if you appreciate deep dives that cut through the noise and unpack the story behind the headlines, make sure you like this video and subscribe. There's always more beneath the surface, and we're just getting started.